Okay, well, hello there. I'm finally getting around to doing this M.Graham review, which, funny story about this. I had decided that I was going to do a review of my watercolors because I have so many, and I know when I was looking to buy professional supplies, I watched a lot of reviews, and there's not too many reviews on M.Graham, and I always used to joke before I did the prep for this video. I always used to joke that I had a love-hate relationship with M.Graham, and what I loved about M.Graham was how affordable it is and how vibrant and brilliant the colors are, and what I had hated about M.Graham was what a mess they were. They're such a mess to deal with. Because they have such a high honey content, they would, just putting them in a palette was like a job because it would just make a mess. It would take forever to dry and get it all into your other colors, and I mean, it was just horrible. And I don't live in a humid place, but I guess folks that live in a humid place can't even use them in a dry in a palette at all because they're just, they don't ever fully dry. Okay, so that was, and the other thing that I loved about M.Graham was that they're available locally. And like I said, most of their colors are, if not all, are light fast, and most of them are also single pigment, which is also what I liked. So yeah, that was my love. And then, like I said, the hate relationship was it made a mess everywhere. It was just so messy and just a job to clean up. But what happened is after I started preparing to do that series, and I was going to start with M.Graham, which I'll go through this in a minute. Funny thing happened. I decided I hated M.Graham. I decided I knew what I hated about M.Graham, and I knew why I was getting rid of M.Graham, and I sold it all. So all I have is this little tiny palette of the colors that I used to have, and I sold them. And I will tell you why as we go through this video, and then I'll do a demonstration painting with it. Okay, so the colors that I used to have were the I can't pronounce it, but it's ANTH and then a bunch of other letters, blue. It's Pigment Blue 60. And I had the Cobalt Teal, which is Pigment Blue 28. And I mean, what a deal for that color, right? Because it's gorgeous. And then I had the Phthalo Green Yellow shade, Pigment Green 36. And then I had Cadmium Red Medium, which I just bought because I didn't know what to buy at the time, and like I said, that was the only professional brand that I could go to the store and buy locally. And I actually never liked that color because it just dries. It looks like crap when it dries. It's beautiful when it's wet, but that's just the nature of the pigment. I got Maroon Praline, which I do still have in my main palette because I don't have another. It's just not a color I would buy. I had a Hansa Yellow, I think in M.Graham it's Hansa Yellow Deep maybe, but it's Pigment Yellow 97. And then I had Pigment Orange 73, which I think is Pyro Orange or Pyro Scarlet in M.Graham. And then I had Pigment Red 209, which is one of my favorites. And I think it's called, what is that called? It's called, I think I wrote them all down. Oh, I guess I didn't write the name down. It might be Quinacridone. Yes, it's Quinacridone Red. It's gorgeous. One of my very favorite colors and very favorite pigments. Naphthol Red PR112, which is also one of my favorite reds. And then I had Quinacridone Violet, PV19, but the violet. And then Diox Purple, PV Pigment Violet 23. Okay, and then I rounded out this palette by just making some mixes. Okay, so that's what's in here. So here's the colors, and this is the Hansa Yellow and the Sky Pyro, Naphthol Red, Quinacridone Violet, Diox Purple, the Anth Blue, cobalt teal, phthalo green yellow shade, which after I sold these, how stupid. This is one of my favorite colors, and this is one of my favorite colors, and this is one of my favorite colors, and this is my very favorite yellow. I've had to replace these. I replaced this with Daniel Smith, Schminky. I have this in so many different brands. Winsor & Newton, Core. Wait, no, that's not right. Because this is almost the same as the Pigment Green 50. My favorite is Schminky, but all, you know, 5 of them are the same color. It's gorgeous though. And then I replaced this in St. Petersburg White Nights, I believe. It's not even in my main palette because I have to make decisions when you only have 63 spaces, right? And so I wanted to have the Daniel Smith colors in there, the greens that I have from Daniel Smith, and that's what I have. Okay, so here was where I did the color wheel. And both the PR112 and the PR209 are both, I consider, warm reds. And then the magenta. Do I have magenta in here? I don't see magenta. So I must have put that in there somewhere. Magenta. Oh, I mixed PR209 and I mixed the quinacridone red and the quinacridone violet to make the magenta color. And, you know, that came out pretty well, so that's that. And so what I decided to do when I was preparing for this class was to just kind of do some mixes and see. And I was going to do these on screen, but they actually took so long that I didn't. So I wanted to do like the middle mixes that would happen between the colors around the wheel, right? So here's my PY97 and I'm mixing it with P073, and here would be the interim mixes, and here's all the mixes all the way around that color wheel of all of those colors. Okay, so you can see that M.Graham is just beautiful watercolor. It's so pigmented and vibrant and dries so beautifully. It's just beautiful, beautiful watercolor. Okay, so why did I sell all of my M.Grahams, and why did I finally decide that I hate M.Graham and get rid of them? Here's some cadmium red deep. I will tell you. Because, first I'll go through the love and hate, right? Highly pigmented, easily activated, single pigments, no frills, affordable, super vibrant, minimal drying shift. I had 11 colors, and my favorites were the cobalt teal and the quinacridone red, which was the right side. No. Which was, yeah, the cobalt teal, I love it, and quinacridone red, PR209, they're still my favorite colors among them. Okay, so to round out this palette, I would have had to add a permanent rose. I felt like PD19 and the phthalo blue green shade, PB 15.3, but I never did get that far because when I did this color mixing here, I realized that working with M.Graham was just, it's a pain in the ass, basically. It's messy, its consistency is hard to mix, it makes it difficult to dilute, it's streaky, it's dry, sticky. If you put it on too thick, your pages will stick together. It'll never dry, and the honey will just be like, well, you can imagine what it's like when you've got honey everywhere, right? It's sticky, and I have experienced the separation of the binder, and I don't like the colors, the cadmium red deep, which is not their fault. I wouldn't like it probably in any line because it just looks like blood to me when it dries, dried blood. And then I not really care about the Perlene Maroon, but you do use it. But what it was, the main thing, was that I have Schminky, I have Daniel Smith, I have Magello, I had Winsor & Newton, but I sold that too. Professional, and these are all professional brands, and I've got the Dr. P.H. Martin's, Hydros. I've just got so much and so many brands of watercolor paint that I realized that I hate this brand. It's not a pleasure to use. It's frustrating to use, especially like given, I just couldn't even believe it. I didn't even realize it until I did this. But once I had done this and I was in preparation for this class, I immediately put it up for sale. It just sold it all. I didn't even care. My favorite colors are gone. I just replaced them with Daniel Smith as time went on and I was able to afford it because they were so difficult to work with. And it's, you know, part of as I go through these reviews, I'll talk about it. But Schminky, is Schminky the best? I don't know. You know, I put together a custom Schminky palette, which when I do Schminky, I'll tell you about. But when I paint with Schminky, it's like a lovely, fluffy clouds and rainbows experience. I don't know why the color's not that great compared to like my favorite brand, which is Mission Gold. But painting with it's a pleasure. It's just a pleasure to paint with. This stuff, painting with it is a drag. It is such a drag to paint with, and I wouldn't even have known it if I hadn't gone into doing this class, because just focusing right in on only M.Graham made me realize how difficult M.Graham was to work with. I mean, just everything's difficult to do. Mixing its own colors, mixing colors in M.Graham is difficult. The colors don't even want to mix. It's like the paint is so, the viscosity of the paint is so thick that it's difficult to mix, and it wasn't a pleasure. So there you go. I say M.Graham is a bargain. The colors are vibrant. If you don't compare it to any other watercolor paint, it'd probably be fine for you. But for me, I sold it all. I just sold it all for cheap, and all I have left is this little tiny palette that I had. And I'm gonna do this painting with this palette, so you can see for yourself, or well, whatever you think. I don't know. They're probably fine doing it by itself. I don't know. So on the left here, you can see I used a combination of my favorite watercolors, which is I have my big main palette, which I don't like things that are real big, but this is as big as it gets for me. And I edited this Meeden palette by taking this third side off and spreading the center out and making it so it's a 48 palette, but I fit 63 colors in here, and these are all my very favorite 63. Like, I have to narrow it down to 63 colors out of all the hundreds of watercolors that I have, and these are my favorites. So that's what is in this palette. So I use this palette and my pH Radiance, which are not light fast, in this painting on the left, and I'm going to use these M.Grahams on the painting on the right. And so that's enough of that. I'll just probably put something in the background that's not copyright and speed paint this section. Hey, thanks for watching this video. I hope you've learned something. If it was of any value to you, please like, subscribe, leave a positive review, blah, 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 blah. All those things you do on the internet, they cost you nothing but mean a lot. You know, it's so important on the internet. Thank you for watching. Bye.
Yes, come on, shorty, let's go. Girl, I see you over there in the corner of the dance floor, and I know you're acting shy, looking at the corner of your eyes. So I pick my heart up off the floor, move my feet closer to yours, catch my...
Okay, and so I did want to just do a little voiceover here and say that these are my opinions, and your opinions may be different, and other artists' opinions may be different. This is just my opinion on M.Graham and how I feel about M.Graham. So no need to argue about it. It's just one artist's opinion, and your opinion's just as valid as mine. But if you're looking to get into a professional brand and you're on the fence about which brand to get into, this is my opinion. Why not M.Graham? So anyway, just my opinion. That's my disclaimer. Go with whatever you want to go with, and if you love M.Graham, I understand why, because I used to love it as well. Anyway, thanks for watching my video. Bye.
You be my queen, I'll be your king. Show you everything that you've been missing, shorty. So come on, dance a little dance. Got me in a trance and just one glance. So don't wait no more. I'm me, I'm more. I'm the one you're looking for, shorty. I'll be the one you're looking for, shorty. So come on the dance floor and baby show me all your moves, all your grooves. Shorty, I got something to prove to you. So come on, take a little chance. Got me in a trance and just one glance. So don't wait no more. I'm me, I'm more. I'm the one you're looking for, shorty. So come on, dance a little dance, dance a little dance. Come on, dance a little dance. So come on, dance a little dance. Take my hand, darling, take a chance. You be my queen, I'll be your king. Show you everything that you've been missing, shorty.
Okay, so on the left is the final version. As it was painted on the right, I ran it through Photoshop and used a brilliant and warm filter. Hey, thanks for watching. See you tomorrow. Bye.